This is Thursday already. Just finishing up week 2, be day 4, NET-226, scaling networks. We went over the exam, talked a little bit about this at the end, and worked on our same lab scenario. Let's take a look at a couple of things. Here we talked a little bit more about the access layer. We were going over some of the quiz questions. So we have access in, so we have our N devices, access in, and then we distribute the information. You know, we could have servers that we distribute information to, or we could send the information out. And what we try to do is try to understand a little bit about the core. Okay? And we talked about there could be, in between here, we could have a firewall, right? There could be one or multiple ones, and so forth. In this case, we looked at our, well, first of all, we talked about the idea of a core. So you could have your internal network here, let's say at Clear Lake, and they could communicate through the internet to China. This communication here could be considered your core level of communications. You don't want to be doing any access lists and those type of things. You want traffic to move from your internal network, let's just say it goes this way, to the internal network at China. You don't want these devices having to do any more work than just forward traffic. And then all your distribution and control and stuff is done internally in your network. So when we talk about a collapse core, that could look a little bit more like small businesses, where the NAT here done at the router, this is our example here at NAC that the students are working on. The NAT done here, this whole level here could be a firewall doing this work. So we have what we call a collapse core. There isn't the pure core layers that might exist in a bigger company. Alright, so then the students worked on this. They web server, we had a little bit of trouble setting this up. So I'm going to work on that for Tuesday. Doing DHCP here, so everything seems to be working. Our PCs are connecting. They're able to go all the way out to the internet and back through the DMZ. The NAT seems to be working. So everything's working, and then to finish up the project, we need to add the web server, and then we can take one of these PCs, I gave a way to log in, and we'll be able to check to see, let's use another color, to see if you have access in to the web server. Doing that, we're practicing the concept in NAT of a static NAT, where we have a static address from this outside network mapped to a static address on the inside network. Here's the outside network, and here's an example of the address on the inside network. Coming up, VLAN trunking protocol. We can set up a server and clients so that when we add a switch to a network, if it's a client, it will learn all of the VLANs from the server using this protocol. There's some details about the protocol we need to learn, but basically that's it. Now we'll look at an example in a minute. Then here, dynamic trunking protocol. This, when you add this new switch to this device, let's just say it's a multi-layered switch, it will automatically set up that trunk between them, depending on how you set up these ports, desirable, auto, and all that stuff. So this is a Cisco product, proprietary, that allows you to automatically get trunking between devices. So the example we used over here, we added a new switch to the access layer. The trunking protocol could automatically set up our trunks for us. Our multi-layered switch could be our VTP servers, so that when you add this, if it's a VTP client, it would automatically get from above all of the VLANs. There's a couple stipulations that are kind of tricky when it comes to doing that, because if you add a new switch and if it already has VLANs on it, how do you know that that's not the switch that everybody else is supposed to learn from? So we'll learn about the version number and a couple other things that you have to be careful about when using VTP. But we'll go over that on Tuesday. Okay, go over that on Tuesday. Well, so then our goal is to work through, our next step is to work through Chapter 2, information, and what we'll do in terms of the labs, we'll probably just add some of this in to our scenario that we currently are working on in class. And we'll finish that up on Tuesday, at least accessing the server. That's it.